and welcome to our Excel series with YouDevHub. As we all know, like I mentioned earlier in the other videos, that Excel is going to be one of our major tools for data analysis. And in this tutorial, I'll be taking you through how to navigate your Excel. We all know that Excel is one of the major tools for data cleaning, data organizing, sorting filters, and we'll be looking at so many ways to do that in Excel. I'll be showing you about the pivot table, the VLOOKUPs, the formula, basic cleaning, organizing data, restoring data, and retrieving lost data. Well, that might sound a bit strange and very strange to you, but as time goes on, you get to understand. Knowing fully well that we are going to be dealing with live data sets and how you're going to see how everything you're going to do is going to affect your journey as a data analyst. So sit back, enjoy, and work with us. And also, if you've not downloaded Excel on your system, I want to believe you have that. If you don't have Excel on your system, you can head straight to your browser and go to Microsoft.com and download Microsoft Office package. It's one of the things that comes with Microsoft Office, and you can get that. Well, if you don't have the license to pay for your licensed version, I will create a link or a video showing you how you can get your Microsoft Office for free in another video. So once you've gotten your Excel, open it up and open a blank space, a blank workspace, or a spreadsheet, So, and we know that our Excel consists of rows and columns. So each rows and each column has a place they intersect called a cell, right? And if I click on the box here or a cell here, it has a label, and we can see in the top corner here we have B8 as the label of this. If I click any other place, we'll have the label here as K6. So in the course of this tutorial, we'll be dealing with cells a lot and rows and columns. So stay tuned and let's work together. So for this pivot table that we'll be using, I'll be showing you using a data set that I got online from kaggle.com. So you can head straight to kaggle.com/dataset, and it's going to show you a whole lot of data sets that you can choose from. You can select whatever data set you want. You can type a name. If you want a data set for students, it's going to give you student performance in the exam. It's going to give you the data set, the kilobyte it is, the year it was updated, and all of that. But in this video, I'll be showing you another one, a data set that is more interesting that I want to work with. Alright, so for this course, I'm going to put in the link to this data set that we're going to use, the bytes.sales in Europe data set. I love this data set so much because it contains a lot of things that you can work with, and it can help you understand your journey in data set or the journey in data analysis. So I'm going to go ahead and download it. It's just 15 MB, and I download it. Okay, it's asking me to register. Okay, for you to download this data set from Kaggle, you have to sign up and be registered with them. So I'm going to just assume you just have to sign up with your Google and register with them, so that since you'll be using that a lot, so I just believe it's good for you to have an account with them. So just sign up, register, and you would have the download link to get data set. So once it's done, we'll go ahead and unzip it. I'm going to be putting all this data set in a link where we can get it in a Google form. So we just open it up. And open it in Excel. Okay, once we have it up, we load it up, and this is what we have. This is an example of the data set, and we can see it has lots of columns and lots of values in it. We have the age group, we have the gender, the country it's coming from, the states, the product category, the subcategory, the product itself, the order quantity, and the cost and the unit price. So with this data set, we can run a lot of things on it. But to get this done, the first thing in using your pivot table is you go into the insert menu up just above here. You click on insert, and you can see pivot table here. You can see recommended pivot table, and you can see tables. So you can choose to insert whichever one you want. You if you click on this recommended pivot table, it's going to try and group them itself in a way it best thinks it fits. But for that, we're not going to be doing that. We're going to be creating our own pivot table, and we're going to be clicking on it. And once we click on it, we'll see it's giving us a range for what do we want to select, what do we want to do, how do we want to do it. So we'll go ahead and clear that out. Once we clear the thing out, we want to select all the ranges of the table, all the columns data in the table. So to do that, we'll go here and click our first data set. You see that it has written inside the box, but we'll click it, press our shift and control and arrow to the right arrow to select everything, and press down arrow to select the whole data set. Then we'll see our new workbook is marked, and we'll click on OK to create a new pivot table. Now we can see that the pivot table has been created by the row and the view has changed. It's no longer the way it is, but it has changed. If we look to the right, we can see that our pivot table now has different views, as we can see here, and all the columns has been listed out. Also, if we come below, we see we have the filter, the columns, the rows, and the value. Okay, these fields below are just used to help you to get out your data and which one you want to do. Now, if you're looking at the rows and columns, we can drag whatever value we want into this place so that we can see what we want to do. So I would like to sort this by country first, so we can get country to me as a more predefined one, but you can use any one. But for the sake of this tutorial, let's go with country. So I click on the country, I drag the country into the rows. You see here that we have all the country displayed, all the country we had in our category before, we have them all displayed here. And we can go ahead and click a subcategory to add, let's say we're going to add the category called states also to the row as a subcategory, and we can see that under each country we have each state already written under the country. If I go ahead and close this, or if I go ahead and close this, you see that it closes. If I click on everything, if I click on this and okay, you see that it closes everything now. Okay, if you don't want to go to the stress of collapsing everything one by one, you can do it with a more shorter way. Let me go back and just open it up. To collapse everything one by one, you can go and right click on any of the countries you want. Right click, you see the expand and collapse section. You see it, and you see collapse entire field, and you have everything collapsed. If you want to expand it all, you just repeat that in reverse, expand entire field, and you have everything expanded. So I'm going to go ahead and collapse it, and collapse entire field. Alright, okay, so when you have there now, you can go ahead and add a value to it. You can choose a value, let's say valued revenue. So if you're going to pick the revenue that was generated by the country, you can pick the revenue and bring it into values. Now, why are we putting it in values? We're putting it in values because those are numerical values that we can actually count and quantify. So putting it in numerical value, we can see that this has been sorted out in such a way that from the existing table we had here, that everything was parsed out and written all out. We can see from our pivot table that it summarizes it, showing us that Australia had this in revenue, Canada has this in revenue, and we can even go ahead and make this interesting by giving it a numerical value of, let's say we give it dollars or euros or pounds. They are no more than, let's just give it in dollars, and we can see that it's coming out in dollars, and we can see that okay, Australia generated $21 million over, and we can come and open up the state to see what each state also generates. Now this alone can earn you some kudos if raw data are being given to you by your in your company to quickly analyze. This is a very good way for you to quickly analyze and know that, okay, let's just get a summary. And they give you a raw data like this and they're like, okay, summarize this and let's have this out. So this can give you a more accurate way of justifying and knowing that, okay, for South Australia, this is what they have, and we can go ahead and do it like this. Alright, and so when we have it here, we can come and do a lot of things with it. We can say, okay, let's go to right here and click on the value field setting. We can change this. It's not the sum of revenue. We can make it our revenue per country. Okay, when we make it our revenue per country, we can choose to show the value as whatever we want. We can show maybe a percentage of the ground total, percentage of the column total, percentage of the row total, and just to show different things. Let's try the percentage of ground total and click as OK. So it's showing us that in the whole total percentage of the entry, Australia has 24.94%. We can expand it and see how even for the Australia, the count of everything inside, that South Wales has the highest, which is 10.7 percentage and all of that. So you see that pivot tables helps to organize your work better, making it more neater and giving you more accurate data that you can just easily grasp instead of going through a whole large set of data. Alright, so we have that, and I'm going to go ahead and pull in more values. I can put in I can go ahead and put in the cost. So if I go and drag the cost or just click on the cost, we have the cost here, and I can also go ahead and put in the profit. Alright, so we can see that we have the cost, we have the revenue per country in percentage. Let me go ahead and reduce this back to put it back in the way it is. Okay, and we have it this way. So we have everything written out the way it used to be, and we are good to go. So we can go ahead and perform other operations by seeing the total cost, the sum of profits, the sum of the cost, and everything that is going on in the Excel sheet. Looking at this table is telling us a lot of things. The revenue in a country is how much the country made from a particular product, where we have the sum of the cost, shows how much it takes in the production cost and how much profit was made. If you go ahead and sum both the sum of cost and the profit made, you see you have the total made in revenue, so which is the sum of the cost and also the sum of the profit to give you the total value as the revenue that was generated by the country. Okay, also we can do a quick check of verification to be sure that what we have here are correct. So let's say we have just the revenue per country and the cost of sum of cost, and we want to check to see what the profit is, and we want to know if the values here are correct. Maybe they submit a data to you and from the financial department say, please help us check if what we have in the sum of cost and the revenue and the sum of products all tally. You can do what we call a calculated table or a calculated field, where you can check to see if what you have actually tallies. Now to do that, you come to pivot table analyze. We come to field item and set, and we click on calculated field. Now this gives us a field. We can change the name. We can say calculated fields, and the formula is going to ask us which formula do we use. We've not gotten into formula now, so for now I'll just be showing you a manual way or to just calculate it, and want to find out if our sum of product actually equals the subtraction of revenue and cost. So for now we'll be putting in bracket. Please make sure you put it in brackets. We'll click on this and click on insert, so it brings the revenue, and we want to subtract it from the cost, and close it, and we press OK. And what do we have here? It has added the sum of calculated fields. Alright, and we can see from this calculated field that the entry we have here in the sum of product is actually the same thing with what we have here in the calculated fields. And for checkmating purposes or for submitting data, you don't actually have to submit these last ones. So if you don't want a field to be visible, we can always come here and uncheck it at any time. So maybe if you want to submit this to your boss, you don't actually have to add this calculated field you did. This is just your own way of verifying that each method and each data actually aligns. So you can always come and tick it out and leave it away from the place. So put it out, put it in. Anyone you don't want to see also, you can tick it out or tick it in. But note that the arrangement changes when you are putting them back in. So I'm just gonna Ctrl Z to just undo that, and we have it like this. So that is how it goes for now. Okay, and having had that, we can now proceed, and we'll discover that the filter is the only thing we've not touched in this side. So let's go ahead and look at what the filter can be here. We know that the filter is not just used to do normal filter like we have it. Like if we go ahead and put the country under filter, we discover that it just opens up everything like that, and this is not what we are trying to do for the filter. This is just a regular filter. This one is a regular filter for Excel, and that is not what we are doing. So if I go ahead and remove the field to restore it back to how we just let me just Ctrl Z that to undo it and restore it back to how we get it. But to use this filter, the filter is used for something more generic that can give us more, that can make more sense for us. So let's go back to if I go back to insert for a pivot table, and go back to our insert for pivot table. Let's say I move here and I want to insert another new pivot table, and I want to insert the pivot table from our sales, and we can see that. Let's go as we did. Click the first one, hold our Control and Shift, and our right to the right, and our down arrow down also, and we can leave it in our existing work table and click on OK. Now we see that we have a pivot table in this place, and we can go ahead for our filter. Let's just go back and do it the way we did it the first time. Let's add our country. Here. Let's add our state here. Let's also go ahead and include our revenue in the values here. Let's go ahead and close up this table. We right click on expand and collapse entire field, and we have it just like we did here. We can also go ahead and put in our cost and our profit just like we did, or let's just go ahead and leave it at our revenue. Let's just go ahead and leave it at our revenue. So we'll be looking at what the filter can do. The filter can help us, it can give us more things that has more broad expand. So we can go ahead and let me remove this revenue for now. We'll bring it at the end of the day. We can go ahead and add something like the year into this our column. So when we have our country and our state, and we'll put it here, we can go ahead and look for, we want to check, let us check out and see what year were we doing our best, what year did we have the highest sale, and we can go ahead and drag our year into our column so that we have the years listed here. We have the 2021, and we can go ahead and add our revenue into the value for year. So we can see from this at a glance that okay, we can also go ahead and add the currency to this. add currency to this and use the zeros, and we have it like this. So this is showing us that okay, at a glance, in Australia did well in 2011, 2012 it was going high, and there was a massive increase in 2013. Now if you notice well, when I was explaining the use of data analysis, I said data analysis is what is mostly needed by companies to be able to determine the production or to determine how their business is going. From this, we can see at a glance, the company can know, or Australia can know that, okay, it has its highest in 2015, which is about 5 million plus production revenue cost, and it can now go further to determine, okay, also which of the states has the highest production for that year, and also to find out one or two things about that. We can also have on this our filter, we can also filter by, let's say we filter it by the gender. We filter by the gender. It can also help to show us at a glance that okay, let's see all the revenue for the females. We can see that okay, these are the revenue for females, and these are what they generated each year as females. And we can also choose and see okay, what do we do as males. We can see that okay, as males, these are what the males have and all of that. So we can see that pivot table is a very useful thing, and a very useful Excel approach to get at a glance to show us the summary of a large data set that we have in Excel. So do take your practices. The links to the data set are in the bio below. You can check it out, and you can play around this to see also other things. You can filter by maybe by age, by month, by year, by the day, to know which day exactly in the month they bought the highest and all of that. And you can just play around it and see. Mind you, we have both of our data of our pivot table on the same sheet. You can create them in different sheets. You can choose to copy and export them out if you like it, and let me know what you feel in the comment section, or you can reach out to me on WhatsApp or on our social media handle and reach out to me and ask any question you want, and I'll be here to guide you through it. Thank you very much.